Hello, good morning. Well, actually, I'm sorry. Good evening, lovely people, because it's 6:57, no, 5:55 right now as I'm talking to you. Well, right now, pretty much the same thing. My eyes are red. Don't worry about it. Just because I just took a shower and then right, I was getting ready to go to work, but I was like, you know what? Might as well just record a video before I actually go to work. So today, you guys are not gonna be seeing my fish because well, I showed you guys my fish yesterday, but it was pretty late, so there is barely any update. Well, there is one update actually. See the male guppy that I had behind me on probably like two, maybe three videos. He died. I really don't know why, but he died. That's crazy. But it was like one of the last guppies from that I bought like last week. So I'm not even surprised because like all the other one that I've bought from Petco died. So it was like this only one that was kind of like showing me sign that hey, you know what, I'm not gonna die, I'm gonna be with you for everybody. But hey, heck no, it passed away. Rip. But yeah, so we're not gonna be talking about this because it's pretty sad. We're gonna be talking about goldfish, and I really want to start like a series of videos where I talk to you guys about my experience with different fishes. I don't know, whatever the heck you guys say. Like goldfish, swordtails, guppies. You guys already know what I think about guppies, but you know, just stuff and give you guys some tips and also like some personal reflection that you guys might also use, which are also tips, I guess, on your own fish keeping journey. So today we're gonna be talking about goldfish, everything goldfish. So let's start right now. All right. So my first experience keeping goldfish was when I first started, like everybody else, I guess. And the reason why I was really into goldfish is because there is a guy that I used to watch on YouTube. I think his name is Luke, but he has like a YouTube channel called like Luke Goldfish, if I'm not mistaken. And he pretty much has a business of selling goldfish to I really don't know who, because I think you can only sell like so much goldfish, to be honest. But it looks like he has like a thriving business, and I'm not batching on the business, but I'm just thinking about the fact that he only sell goldfish, but he sell like so many. It always looks like he's selling goldfish, which is crazy. Like always buying this amount of goldfish, but putting logic on the equation, so it's not actually like one person buying all these goldfish. So it's like probably people all over the world, to be honest. And we have 51 states, so probably people from each state. But I really don't know. I really don't know. So it's kind of like me overthinking about it right now and ranting about it a little too. But yeah, so it was the reason why I was really interested into goldfish. But um, talking about when I first started, so which he did not really last a long time. I'm sorry about it. But hey, you could have guessed, because big into fish keeping. Of course, I'm gonna start with a goldfish, and I think I bought like a goldfish and what's the name again? A beta, and I put them together. I know it's really bad, but I was like, oh, they're gonna be friends forever. But heck no, I quickly realized that the beta was kind of annoying my goldfish. And it was one of those like fancy tail goldfish, and the tail slowly like starting to rot, and I was like, oh, gotta switch it up. And I think that's probably the reason why I got a second tank. No, that was not the reason why I got the second tank. But I had like a smaller container. I'm really not proud about what I'm gonna say right now, but I had a smaller container which first took out the beta from the 10 gallon that I initially bought for him, because hey, the I got the beta before the goldfish, I guess, if I didn't say that. So I'm making this thing clear. So I got beta before I get the goldfish. So I guess like beta and then goldfish afterwards. But yeah, I took out the beta from the 10 gallon that I initially bought for him. So I left the goldfish in it, thinking that it's really a good amount of room. So therefore, the goldfish will be totally fine with it. And then I put the beta on like a smaller bowl, which I have behind me on this thing, which is not even a gallon, which is not even half a gallon, to be honest. I'm not proud about it, but hey, that's what I did. And yeah, so that was me keeping goldfish for the first time. Oh my god. Every goldfish species, or I'll say goldfish kind out there, I only kept two. I only kept fancy goldfish and blackmore goldfish. Fancy goldfish, bought multiples from Petco, did not survive because I'll say mostly first I did not have any any bubbler. So I think like they all died, like the way that they all died was I'll have them like for 2 days and then they'll guard the surface of the tank and then they die. And I guess probably lack of oxygen, and that was probably like with 2 goldfish, and one of them died actually, I think because of parasites. Yeah, one of them actually died because of parasites, and the other one died because of swim bladder issue. That I remember pretty well because I was googling like, well, oh, is that okay? Why is my goldfish doing that? And why is my goldfish sleeping? But yeah, so this was kind of like the kind of goldfish that I kept. And as I'm thinking about it, I really don't like Blackmore goldfish. The reason why I do not like Blackmore is just because the eyes and the way that they look like. I thought it was cool, you know, like the three-tail kind of thing, you know, kind of like look fancy. And when they get big, they get really big. They get cute. Yeah, they can become cute, but like small Blackmore goldfish, don't really like them. And I really did not like the personality of the one that I got, to be honest. It was kind of like one of those, hey, please don't touch me kind of fish. And I first started keeping fish, and I was really into, you know, touching my fish and saying hi to my fish and having like, you know, how they show you like the goldfish in the vase personality in movies, or they're really happy to see you and you're trying like to touch them, and then you not knowing touching the damn fish and making the damn fish sick. It was a lot. It was a lot, but I'm through this now. Yep. I also wanted to add that I kept ranch goldfish in the past as well, and the last goldfish that I kept was ranch goldfish, and I loved them. I loved everything about them, but I will never, even if they pay me, put goldfish ranch goldfish on a planted tank, because I made a mistake of this 20 gallon that I initially bought. The reason why I initially bought this 20-gallon long was because I wanted to keep ranch goldfish, and I had like it was a deal for like $19 or maybe $12 at PetSmart, and I was like, you know what, let's go get it. And they were really small. I went to Petco afterwards, so I got like a pair of ranch goldfish. They were really cute. They were really beautiful. I loved everything about them. Where there was just like, you know, like running around each other and bumping and stuff. And then I slowly realized that, hey, you know what? They're digging out stuff in the tank. Like they were digging out plants that I planted initially on the tank, and everything was really ugly. And this tank was heavily planted, the 20-gallon, believe it or not. But it was like freshly made, so I guess, you know, it was way much more easier for them to actually, you know, dig them out. But I had a good amount of plant on this 20-gallon until they actually effed everything up, and then I just had like to, you know, just kept them in it. But if I ever gonna keep ranch goldfish again, which I really don't think that I'm gonna be doing, to be honest, but I think I might keep them on this 20. I'm sorry, I take this back. If I ever keep ranch goldfish again, I'm gonna keep them on the bare bottom tank with nothing on it, just plain sand, nothing. There's like 3 things that make goldfish unique. So first, you have colors. You know, you have your regular orange goldfish with a little red sometimes on most fancy goldfish, and you have the shaped ranch goldfish. I really like them because they kind of like look like small little cubes. But I kept mine for quite a good amount of time because I had like way much more experience over time, and I think I kept them like for 5 months, if I'm not mistaken. So it was a really good amount of time. And I've also like slowly started seeing them grow a little, so it's not like them forever stay this cute or maybe like this small. So it's like, you know, they have like different growth stages. But for some reason, I really did not see that until they were close to dying. And I really don't remember the reason why they died, to be honest. I really don't. Probably I was traumatized. But yeah. After that, I said, you know what? I'll never keep goldfish again. Maybe if I get some from local breeder, but I really don't think like there's anyone locally that is breeding goldfish, because I don't really see it as like a high value fish, to be honest. But hey, I might be wrong. And then personality, ranch goldfish are my favorite goldfish because they're cute, they do a lot, they are always active, and they don't have like this big fancy tail that some fancy goldfish has, like the regular Orenda goldfish that can easily, you know, bump into stuff, into what can just rot or just become ugly over time. And they tails are small tails, and just like wiggle around, And yeah, I'll keep rancher goldfish over any kind of goldfish, to be honest. Maybe if I see like a black more goldfish with a different color other than black, maybe I'll try to keep it. But at this time, I'll give like personality wise rancher goldfish or the kind of goldfish that I really like. Keep tank size. When it comes to tank size, I'll say I don't keep goldfish on anything smaller than a 30-gallon. If there is such thing as a 30-gallon, I know there is 29-gallon, but I'll say do a 40 breeder. If you really want to do it well, do a 55, maybe a 65. But a 55 should be like a good start if you really want to do it right. But I have this 20-gallon long. Even if it kind of like looks long, I will never keep any goldfish on it because it's just not a long-term plan, because the fish is gonna need room to grow, and believe it or not, they're not gonna stay like in one specific place, or maybe like one specific spot in the tank. So they will want to just like swim around and do stuff, and I'm really not gonna keep any goldfish on the 10-gallon on 10 maybe 20-gallon long. 55 if you really want to do it well. And when it comes to care, water changes. I developed another idea, or I'll say not a personal belief when it comes to water changes. So I'm not really a big fan of doing daily water changes, because I do know people would just like swear by that, like, hey, you know what, you have to do daily water change because goldfish, they produce a lot of waste, which I do know. Trust me, I do know goldfish produce a lot of waste. But I'll say if you do get a 55-gallon, it should not be an excuse to not do water changes frequently. But I'll say you have a little wiggle room if you add some more stuff in the tank. Like if you have a really good hang-in-the-back filter, I'm sorry, any good filter. I just said hang-in-the-back filter because hang-in-the-back filter is the only kind of filter that I do have. Because it's, for me, it's very much more space conscious. There's such a thing. I know I could have put like an annual filter with it, like sponge filter, but I really don't like the way that it looks like, to be honest. I have one of my shrimp tank right now. It's alright because I do know like the shrimps, they kind of like grow in the crevices and stuff. Talking about my sponge filter, and they stay there. But when it comes to like an aquarium that I have, like the hang-in-the-back filter is kind of like the thing that I swear by, because it just don't really take a lot of space, stay in the back, and if I ever want more filtration, I just need to buy another one and add it on it. But 55-gallon goldfish, it'll get some more wiggle room if you have a really strong filter, or we can double your filter size. Like I've heard something on a fish tank podcast stuff videos, and the thing that one of the hosts said, like if you have a 20-gallon or if you have like a 55-gallon, don't get a filter for a 55-gallon. Just go get a filter up than a 55-gallon. And I'll just say double the filter, because you have goldfish and they do produce a lot of waste, but you really don't want to do frequent water changes. I'm talking about like every 2 days, maybe every 3 days, but you want to go like for every 2 weeks water change. We can get a good amount of filtration in the tank, and you make sure that you have a good pump too, so that you can have a really strong bubbler. You give them more oxygen. And I've seen that my rancher goldfish, they really like when the water was really agitated. Not talking about like big gigantic flow, but some agitation, because they'll just like go and swim around the agitation and stuff like that. So they really liked it. So that's one of the reasons why I'll say good filtration, and maybe surely a good pump will be your best bet when it comes to keeping goldfish. And when it comes to food, I'm not a really specialist when it comes to fish food. I used to do dry pellet. I still do dry pellet, to be honest, but I don't do it as much or maybe as frequent as I used to when I first started. But I'm mostly into buying like a regular freeze brine shrimp, or maybe a brine I'll say red worm at a regular Petco or PetSmart, so that they can eat, because I've seen that they liked it more than a regular bland pellet. But I'm having a problem with my shrimp though. Like when it comes to my shrimp, I really don't know any live thing that I can give them. but I bought like some cube palette, and they're not eating it. So I'm gonna try to look into this and actually see what they like, and so that they can eat, because I do know there's like food in the aquarium, but hey, I just want to give them like an extra supplement and stuff like that, so that they can do well. But as of now, I don't really know much about my shrimp and what they do like. But I'll say when it comes to, you know, fish and goldfish, mostly go on the live food routes, and you can have some dry palate just in case, you know, you run out of food one day and you really want to feed them. But I also do know people that feed them like peas and broccolis and stuff like that. I date personally, but I mostly date when they would look like they're about to die. And I've heard people saying like you give them peas and it will make them have like a bowel movement, which will be good if they have like swim bladders. It was a whole thing. But hey, I'm not keeping goldfish right now, but I'm talking about my experience keeping goldfish. So try multiple things and then you'll find out what works best for you. To be honest with you, I'll keep goldfish again. I'll keep goldfish. But there's that multiple condition that need to be met before I actually keep goldfish. Like maybe surely get a bigger tank. And I'm not really into long tank, but mostly like talking about like 20-gallon long and 20-gallon wide with so I'm talking about like think with greater width. Those are like the kind of things that I'm really into, because I really want to like see the fish swimming, but kind of like at my level, my art level, if I just sit down and stuff like a gigantic really tall thing. So I'm probably gonna find like, I don't know, I'll say a 65 weight kind of thing, if I can see if I can find one. And as of now, I generally don't have any space to put such a thing. If I really want to have a thing, so I'll have to take some things out now, and I'm really not into taking any things out anymore, because I did kind of like remodel my room to take more things, and I think I just maxed out everything. So that's like the only thing that I can do right now. I cannot upgrade this room anymore. If I really want to get more things, so I think I should probably move out to my own place and actually get more things. But when it comes to my room, I really cannot get any more things, to be honest. So I'll say, yeah, I'll keep goldfish again. Once I'll finally move out and I'll get like probably a 55, maybe most likely a 55 or 65-gallon tank for them, or something really much bigger, so that they can live there. And yeah, I'll keep them. A few things that I wish I knew before I started keeping goldfish. First thing, you don't have to feed them every day, even if it looks like, you know, they're always hungry, they're always putting stuff in the mouth like and trying to eat. But I say it has like a recipe for disaster, and mostly when you don't have a really huge thing, because you know, the smaller the thing, the more frequent your water change should be. Even if you have like a heavily filtrated tank, or maybe a heavily filtrated system. And I'm kind of like contradicting myself, because I just told you earlier that, hey, you know what, if your tank is really heavily planted, or you have a really good filtration, so you can kind of like, you know, slow it down on the regular water changes. But that's mostly when it comes to you having a really huge and big tank, so that, you know, your fish have more rooms and the waste can kind of dilute in the water. But when it comes to you having a really small tank, which would have been the case right now if I try to get goldfish right now, because I really don't have like a big tank for them. I do have a 55-gallon, but I have it with male hotels, and they're really aggressive. Not aggressive, but still kind of aggressive though. So I will not put any goldfish on it. But if you have like a 30-gallon, you really want to have a goldfish, or maybe a 40-gallon, you really want to have goldfish. So I'll think not feeding them every day is kind of like one thing that you should do, because the more you feed them, the more waste they will produce, and you have a really small thing, so it will need more water change or more frequent water change. And if you cannot do that, don't feed them every day. I'll say feed them every other day. And your thing also have like live stuff that they also eat too. And I don't know, I've seen mine eat algae when I had them. I'll say maybe they do eat algae, but that's something that you might look into and find out yourself. But don't feed them every day. I'll say feed them every other day. And the other thing that I wish I knew is get a bobbler. When I got my first goldfish, I did not have bobbler. Matter of fact, when I got my beta, I did not even have bobbler, to be honest. The only thing that I had is the hanging back filter, and I've also learned by making some research on the internet that, hey, if you do have a hanging back filter and you don't have a bobbler, so you can kind of like put the water level a little down, so that you can create more surface agitation that can have more diluted diluted oxygen on the water, so they can also kind of like survive until they get a pump. But I've never actually done that. I just like kept the water level a little down because I really did not want to buy a pump, because I was like, hey, what the heck, what is that gonna do? But with keeping fish for close to a year now, I've seen that it did make a really big difference, and it's kind of like look cute too, to be honest, because I have this bubble in the back, and it's kind of like creating more surface agitation. And I do know by doing so, it's just giving them more diluted oxygen as well. And it kind of look aesthetic, to be honest, in this video. So I'm not gonna say like, hey, it's all bad. It's like good for all of us, good for the fish, more oxygen, good for me. Kind of look aesthetic, and like, creating more agitation on the water, which I really like. Good for them. And that's all I'll say. I'll say don't feed them every day, feed them every other day or every 2 days, and get a really pump, get a really good filtration, or a really strong, can you get a back filter, or maybe a really strong filter, or whatever you swear by, and double it. Don't just like go up to 2 or maybe 3 gallon when it comes to you have a 50 and you just like get a 55 filter. Just get a 100 filter. I'm sorry, but it'll just save your goldfish, it'll save your time, and it'll save your money too, because you don't want to buy fish and then they're dying, and then you're having to buy a fish again. So yeah, that was it for today's video. So I hope you guys liked it. I'm sorry I didn't show my fish right now, just because showing my fish will take me at least 1 hour to actually show you guys everything, because I also talk on the videos as well. So it's really not gonna be a good use of my time if I try to do that right now, because I have to go to work. So thank you for watching, and I also have some people telling me that they do enjoy my videos. So yes, thank you for watching, and welcome to the farm. We'll see you guys tomorrow in another video where I'm gonna talk about a new fish. So bye, thanks for watching.